And now, broadcasting from the Ginger and Baker studio in the heart of the Music District in beautiful Old Town Fort Collins, Colorado, it's Live at Lunch here on KRFC 88.9 FM, streaming live on krfcfm.org. I'm your host today, David V., and today's special musical guest is Strangebyrds.
Store. You've been in 100 times before. Went out on the highway with the neon light. Sleepy little town on the edge of night. My folks died when I was young. Grandpa raised me, was a son of a gun. When he passed, he left it all to me. I got a liquor store legacy. Preachers and the folks living on the skids, passerbys and housewives and their little kids, highwaymen and cops and the lonely girls, all coming in to ease the weight of the world. Henry comes in every day and says, Angeline, today's a day. I'm quitting drinking and I'm leaving this town. You won't be seeing me around. Every morning at 9:45, I see Henry at the door again, waiting on a six-pack and a bottle of gin, with a glint in his eye and a desperate grin. And it's the preachers and the folks living on the skids, passerbys and housewives and their little kids, highwaymen and cops and the lonely girls, are coming in to ease the weight of the world. Angeline, 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 Angeline. That way I won't have to stop. And every night I sweep the floor, pull the shade and lock the door. I run the local liquor store. You've been in 100 times before. One out on the highway with the neon light, a sleepy little town on the edge of night. And it's the preachers and the folks living on the skids, passerbys and housewives and their little kids, highwaymen and cops and the lonely girls, are coming in to ease the weight of the world. Angeline, Angeline, Angeline. Girl
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
We are going to play another song from our latest record. This little thing called Rootin For Love that came about during COVID when our world started to go kind of nutty politically, and I'm a '60s kid, and I've always rooted for love. This united we stand, and divided we fall. It seems like we're falling right now, can't come together at all. I see a lot of hate, I see a lot of love. That's where the battle lines are drawn when it comes to push and shove. I'm rooting for love. It's in my blood. I'm rooting for love. It's in my blood. I can't help rooting for love. Can't help rooting for love. Well, I grew up on John Lennon, Marvin Gaye too. We sing about the power of love and brotherhood. We stood side by side, we're trying to take down the walls. Yeah, I'm not sure it meant anything. Beards grow longer than small. And I'm rooting for love. It's in my blood. I'm rooting for love. It's in my blood. I can't help rooting for love. Can't help rooting for love. It's in my blood, I can't help rooting for love. Can't help rooting for love. They say united we stand, and divided we fall. It seems like we're falling right now, can't come together at all. Still I'm rooting for love. It's in my blood. I'm rooting for love. It's in my blood. I can't help rooting for love. Can't help rooting for love.
Rooting for love.
Can't help rooting for love.
Rooting for love.
Can't help rooting for love.
Rooting for love.
Can't help rooting for love. Love. Right on. Love.
Strangebyrds here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. All right, let's introduce the band here. Cari Minor
Yes,
and Ray Smith.
that's right.
You guys have been making music together for about 24 years or so, huh?
We
Yes,
met
indeed.
24 years ago and started doing shows together with our own material, and then eventually started writing together.
So
Yeah.
you were just solo performers before you met?
Yeah,
We came together and we just used our names, Cari Minor and Ray Smith, and it and we tried to have a band, which is it's pretty hard to have. And then the economy crashed, and we were like, we want to make a little money, and so we decided to just embrace our duo-ness, and we recorded 5 albums as Strangebyrds, and it's been quite a ride.
We met at a song school at Rocky Mountain Folks Fest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
1999.
All right.
1999.
Back in the day, huh?
The previous century, you might say.
Yeah, it was.
I think I just did.
It was. Well, Highway Island is your most recent album, and we've been playing it here at KRFC, obviously.
Yeah.
And you mentioned you have 5 albums out. You guys are working on a new one, too, it sounds like. Shrieking Violets.
Shrieking Violets. It's going to be a rock album, a folk rock album, I guess. There's some pretty hard rocking stuff, and then there's some really beautiful sort of lower things. We like to maintain a dynamic range when we record albums, so they're not all just like one thing. And so yeah, because of I've been struggling with prostate cancer, and it spurred a whole bunch of new kind of vibrations for songs, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing well with it, you know, so that's good. And but yeah, it's just brought about a whole different thing.
Well, and that's why it's shrieking violets instead of shrinking violets, because when you're conquering something like this, you can't be a shrinking violet.
You want to yell out about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta bust out.
You're releasing that album October 21st, and that is in conjunction with UC Health. You're doing a show at the E-Town Hall.
Yeah,
Correct.
We'll be working with UC Health Foundation, raising a little bit of money that night for them, and debuting our new album as well. Yeah.
And UC, of course, the E-Town Hall's in Boulder,
and we'll
Colorado.
have a full band that night.
Oh, wonderful.
So, yeah.
And are you the only act that night? Or
we are.
Yeah,
Yep.
just us.
Special night.
Yeah.
It's going to be
great.
It
is.
It's going to be really fun.
It's rock and roll in Boulder.
Got to be excited
a
about
rare
that.
thing.
Well, it's like everybody's dream to play, Red Rocks, but E-Town's probably right next behind it, right?
E-Town's pretty great.
Yeah. Nick and Helen are wonderful.
And the facility has like everything you want, so it's made for doing this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what brought you guys into doing the style of music that you're doing now? Did you grow up listening? You just sang in your lyrics that you listened to Lennon and Gay, but that's not really folk, acoustic. I
used to always say, and I don't want to jump on Cari's spot here, but I always used to say I like James Taylor to Jimi Hendrix. I've always had a very wide scope of music I listened to, and I was signed to Vanguard Records in the 70s with a fusion band. And
what was that band?
It was called Flying Island. You can look it up. It's out there. And we had a 5-year record deal, and we fulfilled 2 albums, and then they weren't promoting us. It was one of the typical bad deals from the 70s. And so we shelved it and moved on. And I haven't been signed to another record label since, but... You don't need to be anymore.
You don't.
That's the beauty of today's
Following
world.
in the footsteps of Ani DeFranco.
Yeah. Well, and you can
York.
DIY now, know. But your influences.
What were you listening to?
Oh, I was listening to Joni Mitchell, and a lot of. I actually liked. Do you know the artist Sean Phillips? Did you ever listen to him?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And oh gosh, so many. Now I really love Kathleen Edwards. I really love her music.
She's had,
Bon Iver.
the last couple albums have been really good.
Sufjan Stevens we like a lot, and some of the Icelandic artists. And our son lives in Denmark, so he's always turning us on to new music. So.
One of the things that brought us together was our mutual love for Joni Mitchell, because I love Joni too. I used to play Case of You and other stuff, and when I played solo shows and. Yeah, so it was a bonding point, our musical interests, Plus, she loves rock and music. And
yeah, Led Zeppelin was my band. Yeah.
All right. What do you, you've got an interesting instrument there. What are you playing today?
This is an Irish bouzouki. Okay. It came from the factory in Ireland. I was living in a closet down in Golden, Colorado, and I released her from a closet. So after 12 years in a closet, she's finally out and playing.
She probably appreciates that.
Yeah. I named her Rosemary after a good friend of mine. So.
So you're going to play Highway Island off the most recent album.
Our title cut, yep. The song came about from touring around, and particularly Wyoming. We were up there at a show in Rawlins, Wyoming, and we went downtown because that's normally what we do. We go to like the local thing and see, talk to the waitresses and meet local people. And we went downtown at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and there was nothing open, and it was a beautiful downtown street,
all
well
boarded
maintained.
Up. Like literally all boarded
and a
up.
mile or so away is the highway with all the typical stuff: McDonald's, Burger King,
Taco
everything
Bell.
and so
We asked where we could get a good cup of coffee in town, and they told us to go back out to the highway and get it from McDonald's, and it gave birth to this song. So
we're coffee snobs. That's not what this song's about. So. Here we go. You ready, huh?
yeah.
3, 4. Flashlights and warnings, and the places where folks used to go. Empty main streets, everything closed. Highway islands all the same. They take away the local money chain. Easy off, easy on, and the town is gone. Easy off, easy on, and the town is gone. Like the small farms we saw abandoned down in Kansas, made us feel this empty feeling in our souls. And we wonder why the world's so cruel. They talk about the golden rule. Money does what it wants to do, and everyone follows in pursuit. Easy off, easy on, and the town is gone. Easy off, easy on, and the town is gone, gone, gone. Box store, fast food, everything cheap and greasy. Those boy, mom and pop, big boys are so greedy. Trying to make town by morning, and the highway signs only flashlights and warnings, and the places where folks used to go. Empty main streets, everything closed. Highway islands all the same. They take away the local money chain. Easy off, easy on, and the town is gone. Easy off, easy on, and the town is gone, gone, gone. Easy off, easy on, and the town is gone. Easy off, easy on, and the town is gone.
Strangebyrds here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. Yeah, that's the story about a lot of America, isn't it? With the highway comes through and all the business goes to the highway, and the downtown dies in the small town.
It was interesting because we were talking to Ray's oncologist, who's from a very small town in, I think, Indiana or Southern Illinois, and he was saying how when he goes back there now, it's all boarded up, and how maybe with time all these little boarded up places will start being inhabited again with people being able to work from anywhere and figuring out how much cheaper it is and build, some...
And being in the big city.
That's what I like, an optimistic...
oncologist.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
All right.
That is what you want.
There's a song there, optimistic oncologist.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be difficult with prostate cancer. How long have you been battling that?
Since
year ago May.
Well, I found out a year ago May, and it took us a while to find the right docs and the right protocol that we felt comfortable with, and
Ray had no symptoms either. I want to mention that because
this was just a regular
zero
physical.
Symptoms,
Showed it
just
up.
went in for a regular physical.
I hadn't been to a physical for many, many years, probably close to 40 years. I'm one of those guys I feel fine. I'll probably be the healthiest guy they ever see. You go in feeling that way and you come out, I got cancer, AFib, it's like, Jesus Christ. So.
I was feeling great till I went to the doctor.
Yeah,
right?
everything was cool, But I would have died from it if not for Cari. So she saved my life by, begging me to go. And she's not a person to tell me to go, but she begged me to go. And I was like, okay.
She's persuasive, I'm sure.
Yeah. When I finished radiation, I did radiation in December, 20 days. And the whole time I was doing it out at the Longs Peak facility, which is a really beautiful hospital and not super crowded like Anschutz was when we first went there. I was telling them the whole time, at the end, they have a little gong there that you hit when you're finished with radiation, and everybody goes, "Oh, congratulations!"
Oh, when you the whole bevy of radiation.
So I told them I wanted to sing part of one of my songs and then hit the gong. So when I came out of the last session, the hall was filled with people from the hospital, and they have other stuff to do. They're busy folks. So
even the VIPs came down.
The VIPs came down.
The head honchos.
That's when we found out they wanted to partner with us for our big show in October. But this song I played, and I only played the first verse and chorus, and then I hit the gong, and it was really loud.
He forgot to hit the gong, actually. I had to remind him, so then he took the little thing and went, I think he almost broke it in half. So. There's a video up somewhere on Facebook on our page somewhere.
Anyway, so this song was about living the day, which is what we do. And let me just switch this chord.
The only one today?
Only one today, yeah. And it came about... just with a phrase I said to Cari one day. I said, we were going somewhere, and I said, there's always more tomorrows. There's only one today. So let's do what we're doing here. We're going to the dump or something like that. Making the best of it. But
we live in the middle of nowhere.
Which can be fun. You never know.
Preface that statement,
Our dump is fun. So here we go. This is called Only One Today.
Okay, get serious. Here we go.
You can only be lucky as the day is long, living your life, singing your song, kicking the tires and you're on your way. Always more tomorrows, only one today. I used to be angry, used to go fast, then I got old and it kicked my ass. It ain't for the light-hearted, they say. Always more tomorrows, only one today. Always more tomorrows, only one today. I'm still in a hurry at a different pace. I still like to feel the wind in my face. I act like a child most of the day. Always more tomorrows, only one today. Sometimes I think it's good to let go of the things that hold you down on the floor. Kicking the tires and you're on your way. Always more tomorrows, only one today. Always more tomorrows, only one today. Always more tomorrows, only one today.
That's the truth.
So we got another little song here for you.
Doing the quick switch.
Yeah, we're doing the quick switch here.
Do the quick switch and talk for 10 minutes and then play a song. Sure, it's nice to be up here. We've been performing at KRFC over the years. I think we've done 3 radio shows at least. One in this room before they were videoing. And Fort Collins just has such a great scene.
Very supportive
Really,
music scene.
Really, just wonderful. Yeah. We played Foco Max this year, and that was pretty crazy. There was so many bands. It was fun though.
This is a song off our new album as well. It's a song that while we were safe harboring my mother in Boulder, my brother and I busted her out of her independent care place in Wisconsin, and Chautauqua Community Park. They opened up their cabins to us for 6 months. We couldn't bring her up to our house. It was too high up. We're at almost 9,000 feet. So for 6 months, we lived in Chautauqua, and I would either run straight up when I go running up the mountain or down to Columbia Cemetery, where during the pandemic, there was nobody in cemeteries. It was a great place to go and run around. But I got intrigued by a bunch of unmarked graves, which turned out to be several ladies of the night from the late 20s, early 30s who had died during the Spanish flu. And I started doing research with Carnegie Library in Boulder and discovered all sorts of stories. This is one of those stories. Bugtown refers to the area of Boulder where all the madames had their houses. And Water Street is where Canyon Boulevard is today. So anyway, it's called Bugtown. True story. Well, I left Mom and Pop in the hills of Iowa and our old side cutting farm. I packed a bag and walked the rails down to the train. I would have given up my right arm, and I headed my way west to Boulder town, where I first met Trixie Lee. She said, Lottie, you're a pretty girl. You could make some easy money. Come and meet Madame Marie. They came, pockets full of gold. Some were young, some were mean and old. And Trixie Lee, she took up with Freddie Hawks, a rich man whose wife ruled with an iron hand. living in a party house. I never felt so alone, with trouble so great. Can't remember my home. Well, Marty Hawks got her revenge when she found Trixie Lee shot 5 rounds into her sly body. And I left the rapid girls with Water Street. No one ever saw the likes of me. Me and Trixie Lee down on Water Street. God bless Trixie
Carrie Miner and Ray Smith, the Strangebyrds, here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. You guys have some upcoming shows here, too. It looks like you'll be at 300 Suns Brewing in Longmont on July 8th.
That's correct.
And then the St. Julian Hotel in Boulder on July 13th. That's a Thursday. Oscar Blues in Lyons on July 16th. Yeah, Sunday.
That's correct.
And then the next Sunday at Trident Cafe in Boulder.
I think it's a Saturday. Yeah.
7/22 Saturday. You're right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Trident's really fun.
Yeah,
That's
it's
turned
a
into
really
a really
fun
wonderful listening
little
venue.
place.
So
There was stage in the back and that open area in the back. It's all covered and
Oh, really?
it's
yeah.
pretty groovy. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a juice bar right next to there, too. It used to hit.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best place for people to go to get information on your upcoming shows, your music. Get all the little
www.strangebyrds.com.
Strangebyrds.
Yes, we went when we came up with the name. Where Carrie's mom had mentioned a friend of hers who was a real strange bird, and we were looking for a name. And Cari called me and said, "Strangebyrds, check it out, see if we can get it." And I looked it up online, and the IRD was taken by a bush pilot service in Alaska. So, and then I saw Y was there, and I was like, "Well, Y is even better because '60s birds, you know."
Yeah.
We did Sleight of Hand for a while, and we did a show down in Buena Vista, and everybody came thinking it was a magic show. So we quickly discovered that was not a good duo name.
Not
Yeah,
a
you got to
good
pick your
thing.
name right, you know.
Yeah, to pick it. And you said your mother kind of came up with that.
Yeah, I was back visiting her in Wisconsin, and she was on the phone talking to someone. She goes, "Yeah, you know that Mitzi, she was a really strange bird," and it just went ding, 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 ding. And then about right after we took that name up, about 3 weeks later, Jack White did a big interview where he kept calling himself a strange bird, and I thought, right on.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And he is, but an excellent musician, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right. So the new album, Shrieking Violets, are you going to be playing any of the music from that today at all?
Not today.
Not
no.
yet.
We'll be debuting that at E-Town Hall on October 21st. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
we're
if you
trying to
wanna
play
hear
stuff
that-
that's out there now that you can still get a hold of right now, because that music we're still recording and writing. We're almost done, but
Yeah.
What's the best place for people to go to get your music? I mean, that you prefer that they go to
Bandcamp.
Well, if they go to our website, then they can get it from
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, and that actually gives us the best little
We get the
bang
most
for the
money
buck.
from that,
You know,
yeah.
Great.
much better than other online places. So
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Bandcamp is
helps us a lot.
probably
you know?
the best paying.
Created
right.
by musicians for musicians, I think is what they say. But,
Yeah.
So interesting story with Bugtown there. That was nice that you let us know what that
Yeah.
was all about.
Yeah, and there was really a Frederick Hawks. There was a Maud Hawks. And it went to trial, and Maud was free from prison because the judge said that Trixie Lou was a devil worshiper, and Maud was a God-fearing woman, so they let her off for murdering Trixie Lee. Yeah.
Ah, early Colorado, huh?
right.
So North Star's the next tune?
It is.
And what's that about?
I wrote this kind of at the end of our latest album, just as we were almost, finished with it, and it's kind of like kind of my anthem of getting back into the world. We released it in 2022, and it was just kind of a time when we could suddenly see our kids again and family again, and felt like an awakening. At the same time, I had spoken to a friend of mine because we were talking about kind of the quality of life and living your passion. Ray and I are older artists, and so it's kind of like we're still doing this and kicking it and having fun. And he talked about his grandfather, who was like 90 in Wisconsin and went out in a blizzard and like shoveled his entire like driveway. He lived on a farm and then came back and laid down on the couch and died with his boots on. And how everybody was so thrilled by that because he died doing what he wanted to be doing and happy and living on his farm at 90. And so that kind of makes its way in here too. And
North Star.
it's supposed to be positive. It's supposed to be a positive thing.
All right.
Hey, hey, hey. I'm gonna keep my head on straight, living in a crooked time. I'm gonna keep my vision clear, staring at an empty sky. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the road. It's not the end of the line. It's the end of the show. Let's follow our North Star. It guides us wherever we are. On the highway in the wicked wind, it reminds us again and again. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the road. It's not the end of the line. It's just the end of the show. Imagine the true north, where the doors are open to us all. Ooh, and there's no division, and the walls tumble and fall, tumble and fall. We're gonna die with our boots on, playing on our guitars, standing on a mountainside, following our North Star. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the road. It's not the end of the line, my friends. Just the end of the show. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the road. It's not the end of the line. It's just the end of the show. It's just the end of the show. I'm gonna keep my head on straight.
Strangebyrds here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. I'd like to remind our audience that you can always go to our KRFC RadioVision YouTube channel, and all of the shows that we tape here at KRFC are available to be viewed. And also there's a subscribe tab when you go to the site. It gives you a nice chance to be able to be notified each week of upcoming bands that will be here on KRC's RadioVision. Helps support the musicians as well, too. Thank you. So, yeah, that was beautiful. I do want to mention, too, that, Ray, looks like you've got a solo instrumental album out now, Invisible Things.
I do.
Under Raymond Leroy Smith.
That's my full name. I have a long story. I'll try to make it short, but my name has been Ray Smith my whole life. And when we were signed to Vanguard Records, that's how they had me listed. And back then, Vanguard owned our publishing, blah, blah, blah. Years later, you get your publishing back. DJ Shadow sampled part of a song that I had a co-write on, about 8 bars. And there was 15 grand waiting for me, and they couldn't find me because my stupid name was Ray Smith. And they finally looked up the keyboard player from that band, who's still quite famous. His name is Jeff Bova. Look at bovaland.com. He's amazing. But so they asked Jeff, if he knew me still, and he said, yeah. And they hooked me up, and I had to go through unclaimed funds departments in Maryland and New York to get my $15,000. And so now I list myself always as Raymond Leroy Smith. There actually is another Raymond Leroy Smith who got one of my checks. I did the score for the Muscle Shoals documentary that came out in 2013.
Oh, that was a great documentary.
Thanks. And he got one of my checks, and he was a righteous dude. He looked me up on IMDb and sent me my check back.
Excellent.
But there's another Raymond Leroy Smith, and there's probably 50,000 of them. But.
Christmas in July, right? Yeah.
So you want to do Tumbleweed then? Huh?
Yeah. We're looking. I think we do Tumbleweed and Skeleton Tree, but we're gonna have. You could probably throw in another one. Do 3. Yeah,
We got one more up our sleeve.
Before we do that, though, I'd like to thank our video crew here, and
These guys
that's
are
Eric
awesome.
Delano and Jeremy Smith. They do a fantastic job every week.
You sure do.
Rain or shine. And I'd also like to thank our audio crew, Colton Benning, Greg Durox, and Dan Perez, who also do a wonderful job on
Thanks,
our
you
video.
guys.
And thanks, guys. Thanks as always.
And I'm sorry I left my mute on the last song. But,
I left mine on for just a little bit, and then I turned it off, so hopefully that'll work out okay.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. They'll let us know on that. All right.
So this is a little instrumental song that came about from driving around up in Wyoming again and seeing tumbleweeds come across. And when you write instrumentals, you're never quite sure what to name them, And so we thought we'd call this Tumbleweed. You ready?
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4. Tumbleweed.
Ray actually wrote that, and then I was still working at the Boulder Public Library, and I was driving down the canyon up and down listening to it when I came home, because we just done that whole tour and then in Midwest up in Wyoming. And I said, you got to call that Tumbleweed, man. That's, you know. And then
It works.
He laughs a lot and says to people, why do we, like when we're out on the highway, why do we avoid hitting tumbleweeds? You know, like you're driving along at 70 miles an hour and you're like, oh, tumbleweed boy. You know?
Don't hit it. Don't hit the tumbleweed. So we got another song from, what album is this from?
It's from Star-Crossed Lovers.
Star-Crossed Lovers. One of our albums. And Cari, tell you
Another
about
historical ballad. And this is about the Barker Reservoir up in Nederland, Colorado. And the land under that used to be a ranch owned by Ezra Barker. And he met Hannah Connell from Skibbereen, which is where my family Connell is from in Ireland, is Skibbereen Connell. So I'm fairly certain that we're related. She left about the same time as my great-great-uncle right before the famine. And anyway, she and Ezra owned that land, and this is a little song about her and her fight for trying to keep their land that they ultimately lost. But
with the city of Boulder.
yeah. Back then it was not called this, but now it's known as an eminent domain. So, but she gave it all hell. She was really cool, if you ever look her up.
You ready? Here we go. Skeleton Tree.
I gotta do a quick capo here. Sorry, buddies.
Capo.
All right, here we go. Ezra Barker got down on one knee underneath the skeleton tree. Said, Hannah Connell of Skibbereen, do me the honor and marry me. For my wife has died and my child is 7. Since I met you, feels like heaven. We got married in the dwindling hall. Town folk came, one and all. Love a man. You gotta give
other man. And I fought and I fought and then I fought harder. They just covered our land with runoff water. Now I stand on top of their land. I'm looking down at Barker Dam. Think about Hannah from Skibbereen underneath the skeleton tree. You gotta get the dam to fight a dam. You gotta get your heart to love a man. You gotta give a damn to fight a damn. You gotta lose your heart to love a man. Love a man.
Skeleton tree. All right. You ready to rock, darling?
You got time?
We got one more for you. This is an older song we wrote, and it we could just rock right in. You ready to go?
Yeah. I think so. I'm ready to go.
All right. This is called We Came Rollin'. I started thinking, it occurred to me that something wrong with the life we lead. We have a lot of fun and we let it bleed, but we don't always make just what we need. You water and water after you plant the seed, but it takes a long time to grow a big weed. Oh yeah. Not every place is nice like this. Sometimes there's a few things we miss, like sound and lights. People like you, place to plug in and take off my shoes. Someone to pay you at the end of the night. That's when you know everything's alright. We came rolling down the road, now we're rocking, about to explode. We came here to take you for a ride. We'll play for food, rock most every night. Come on, baby, make some dinner. Look out. It's been fun, your town is cool. Went to the thrift store, we played some pool at the bar where we're going right after the show to do some shots and let it go. Spend all the money that we made here tonight. I guess we're even and everything's alright. We came rolling down the road, now we're rocking, about to explode. We came here to take you for a ride. Yeah. We'll play for food, rock most every night. Came rolling down the road.
to explode. We came here to take you for a ride. We'll play for food and rock most every night. We'll play for food and rock most every night.
Thanks, Strangebyrds.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Live at Lunch, and thank you to the Music District here in the heart of Fort Collins, Colorado. Live at Lunch is produced by KRFC 88.9 FM in the Ginger and Baker studio. If you'd like to appear on Live at Lunch, email our music director, David Vosick, at david@krfcfm.org.